All right. I think that we are live. Let me pull up the chat. If you're here, when you get here, please say hi or put an emoji in the chat. So I know that you're here and I can say hi. These are so much more fun when they're interactive. All right. Do I see myself? Okay. Do I hear myself? These are sweet. Sound check complete. I'm so honored to be here for this Cosmic Mother Sophia activation. Preparing for it really put me in this beautiful space of awareness, and I'm adjusting. I'm really adjusting to being on screens, being on screens, and also being in a space of awareness. So yeah, it's fun. It's a fun adventure. I like to wear my glasses. It's kind of a lot. Okay, so when I think about Sophia, well, actually before, let's give everyone a few more minutes to arrive. I'd love to just share. I think most of you know, but I'm a divine feminine mastery coach, and I guide women into their potential as embodied, powerful femme leaders, divine feminine leaders, which we defined yesterday in the group. If you want to check out that video, I think it's important to know, what is divine feminine leadership? So I do this through awakened sexuality, empowered relationship dynamics, and manifestation. It's a whole shamanic journey of the elements and the things that women need to go through to really embody the divine feminine. And it's the journey that we haven't been on. So I'm here to support women in birthing their soul's purpose into this reality and making money doing it, right? Healing the patriarchal wounds. I have another video on that if you want to watch, check that one out. It's pretty informative as far as our current, a lot of common wounds that a lot of women have currently. And so I do all of this. My method for coaching is a fusion of dynamic coaching, as well as ancient wisdom practices, which I'm going to talk about Ayurveda a little bit today, and then divine guidance and embracing sexual liberation. I'm very passionate about being part of our collective, like, mystical sex revolution. I want to bring the sacred back into the sexual. I want that to be part of all of my work, is couples just loving each other so deeply and feeling sacred and feeling the divine in their lovemaking. And so I want to be part of bringing that back, as well as women's financial freedom and consciousness rising. So a little about me. I think most of you probably know that, but in case, it's always good for me to share. All right, so Sophia, the great cosmic mother. And if you're watching this later, just put in the chat #replay, and then, yeah, let me know that you watched it later, and you can comment later. Okay. I have several windows open here. I don't think I need that window. I hope I don't need that window. Okay, I'm still alive. All right. Let's see here. Cool. I still see the chat. It's a little bit hard to keep track of. Oh, there it is. Okay. Too many screens. Okay, so great cosmic mother, Sophia. So you can think of it as like just the great cosmic mother. Like, if you haven't read this book, this is suggested reading for anyone working with me. It's kind of like a college level thickness here, but you can tell it was very life-changing. It's just rediscovering the religions of the earth. So really referring to the great cosmic mother as Sophia in a lot of ancient culture. This is all, most of this is like pre-patriarchy, and then some. It's the history of the earth. So, right, the religion, discovering the religions of the earth, and then, you know, from like the beginning of time, essentially, or like this human existence. Anyways, it's a really beautiful book, and all of it is like, well, what if the divine is a woman, right? And what if she birthed reality? And so I like this picture I was going to share. It's God giving birth. And I think it's good for, actually, I'm going to hold that up there. I think it's good for rewiring and reconditioning our awareness as like God is, maybe androgynous or female. Obviously, God would be, yeah. So anyway, I think it's helpful. And just thinking about God as female is a huge step in divine feminine work, like thinking about whether it's the earth or the goddess or like this, the great cosmic mother. And I think for a while, for a lot of us, like the word God as masculine can be triggering because of the patriarchy and religion and some of the things that weren't so great. And a lot of that stuff were stored in our cells. So sometimes we don't quite understand why it doesn't feel aligned or it resonates. So doing this work of thinking about God or the divine as female, I think is nice to harmonize. Obviously, the divine is masculine and feminine. And I think it's helpful to think of it. And so sometimes, Sophia comes up in a lot of things around the ancient cultures. It's like Sophia or the bird snake goddess or like these types of things. And so there's a book that I love that I've shared on these activations before called the Sophia Code. And this is what we're going to use for our activation today, just the very first part. So to anchor, support, trust, and surrender, I wrote some questions down and I'd love to hear in the chat. How do you cultivate trust? What do you do to cultivate trust in your life? How do you trust that everything is working out, like the universe is conspiring in your favor, or that all is well? How do you cultivate trust? And one way could be embracing the divine as this mother, this nurturing, feminine Sophia-like mother. And there's a bunch of other Sophia myths, by the way, out there. There's there's the world soul is a woman, like the Gnostic myth of Sophia. There's a bunch of other different things, but the way I'm talking about her is more of this like overarching divine mother, the great cosmic Sophia mother. Okay. So yeah, how do you cultivate trust? Another question, and I'd love you to put in the chat, how do you cultivate trust? And this is amazing because when we share, if several of us share how we cultivate trust, maybe more trust could be cultivated for everyone, right? Because you get new ideas from our friends. This is why I love community and sisterhood. Okay, so how do you have faith? Especially if you've left a religion and now you're in this spiritual realm, how do you cultivate faith? How do you have faith? How do you feel supported? Do you feel supported by the earth? How do you cultivate feeling supported? As women, these are fundamental for us to feel supported, to trust, to have faith, and then to be able to surrender the outcome, to surrender to the present moment, to the divine mystery that is unfolding through us in the moment, right? This is consciousness. This is awareness. Is how do I slow down and nourish and love myself to the point of where consciousness I can literally witness myself as the divine unfolding in the moment. It's very magical. It's free and it's available to everyone, right? So I'd love to hear in the chat. Let me just double check the chat really quick. Okay, I don't see any comments. If you are, I'll give it a second. But if you're watching this later, you can do #replay. And then, yeah, I'd love to hear the answers to these questions. I mean, my answer to most of these questions is living Ayurvedically, quite honestly. If you want to get into practical hows, how do I cultivate trust? How do I cultivate faith? How do I feel supported? How do I surrender, right? It's through all of my rituals and practices daily that help me feel supported and loved and nourished by the universe. That'd probably be what I would put in the chat, is living a holistic Ayurvedic lifestyle helps me keep the faith, have trust, feel supported. surrender, which is why Ayurveda is such a huge part of what I do. I mean, Ayurveda, for anyone that doesn't know, is ancient preventative medicine, 5,000 years old. How do we evolve consciously? And how do we prevent disease? How do we align with nature? And now you have a lot of videos on Instagram and TikTok and places like, oh man, we need to get back to living in line with nature, right? I see these on my feed. And Ayurveda is a great way to do that, because it's talking about being collaborative, right? The idea is as you evolve and become more conscious, you're more collaborative with your environment and with how you're sourcing your food. Okay, so we're going to read this. It's quite potent. It can be quite powerful for you. So I would suggest maybe closing your eyes. If you have a copy of the Sophia Code, you could read along. We're going to start on page 3, I believe. I'm going to start on page 3. I think it's page 3. Let me just roll up. Yeah, it's page 3. And so this is the whole thing with consciousness, right? Is you are the divine. I am the divine. There's a divine vibration that we all share. And the more we see it and feel it, the more we naturally have faith and trust and surrender. And some of these things I'm talking about that we really need in order to make the shifts that we need to make as consciousness and as individuals, and as leaders in this new era, right? We're leading the way with a lot of this. I know that the people that are drawn to me are also leading the way. So if you're in this group, that's probably you. So yeah, I invite you to allow. So, even if it doesn't make sense to your mind, your soul knows this and can receive it on some level. So if you're open to that, and it won't if you're not open, so no worries there. Sophia speaks. In this present moment, I am the whole universe witnessing you with great curiosity. Beneath the surface of form, I am the ever-loving presence. Okay. Surface of form is everything that we're seeing. So in this, everything that we're seeing, I am the ever-loving presence. This is the energy that's holding us, okay? I am that one unified field of consciousness, reading this sentence with you as you peer into the ineffable mystery of my heart. With unconditional love and appreciation for you, I patiently await your free will choice to come closer to me now. I am listening for how you will respond to my voice, inviting you to remember me through these words. I'd love to know how that's landing in the chat. If you are curious, when I invite you to perceive me playfully perceiving you, reach out your arms of perception to feel the vibrancy of my presence embracing you. I am the breath of life within everything, even inside of you. You are safe to relax into remembering now. Yes, you are safe to relax into remembering now. My presence is a pure, unconditional love sanctuary for our communion. I feel this. I have felt this. This is an amazing thing. I'm calling everyone beloved now. So being with a beloved, a friend, or anyone, and feeling this pure, unconditionally loving sanctuary. So you're held in this sanctuary, and it feels like you're communing with who you're with when you're in awareness. It doesn't feel like you're relating or talking, you're communing. It's different. Oh, I love this. Okay. You may not feel comfortable being fully seen, and you may even feel concerned that I might judge you. Accepting the truth of my unconditional divine love for you can happen one step at a time. I assure you, the curiosity of my gaze is a gentle invitation extended to you with pure adoration. My presence is never judging you. So if you're ready to come, If you're ready, come closer. You are here to remember my magnificent holy presence as your own, your holy presence. It is such an honor to be here in your holy presence. Thank you. Although this may feel both comforting and affronting in your human awareness, okay, the ego rejects this stuff. The ego is like, what? Okay, and the ego is part of the mind. It's the part usually that has a lot of thinking to do with the past, things that are comfortable in the future, a lot of fear generally. The ego is important. We love the ego. We want to integrate the ego. And that's the part that might feel affronted with some of this. And just to know that and continue to listen and allow your soul to receive is my invitation to you. I know everything about you. This is the one divine mother, creatrix of all, right? I know everything about you, both seen and unseen. I am Sophia, the one divine mother, creatrix of all. I know everything about you because I conceived your soul within the still center of my womb. I invite you to step inside my presence and remember the ineffable mystery of my warm black womb as a source of all immaculate conceptions. No thing exists within the absolute stillness of my womb. Yet witness how my presence listens within this stillness for what is arising as the next great asking to be born. So you can drop into awareness with someone and be in that moment. It feels kind of like this, where it's like there's a silence and you're like, I wonder what's arising to be born into this moment. So from my womb of no thing arises all that is. In my ineffable mystery, I am the holy black womb of no thing that conceived the one source light from which all the worlds of form arise. I bestowed with you a sovereign magnetic power from which your soul assembles the atomic architecture of your human body with the quantum fabric of the pearlescent white light. Sorry, I looked at I jumped lines for a second. Everything that you are comes from my original source and exists within my one mind. Yes, I am that one source one source light pointed to by the innumerable names for God within all spiritual revelations. I am every name of God. I am also that which is beyond the name of God, which is one of my favorite songs, God Beyond All Names. For any title can only point to a quality of my ineffable mysteries. You can call me the source. You can call me the Sophia. You can call me she who has no name. For I am that which is within all names, including Holy Father. And so she goes on, obviously, to share this soul transmission. And I just wanted to share a little bit of it because as we step into awakening and enlightenment and some of these different newer, expansive and grounded frequencies, it's important and it helps us cultivate the trust from a spiritual perspective. So we take care of the body, and that would be where the Ayurveda comes in, right? And then we nurture the spirit by being in communion with others. So if you would like to be in communion with me, I would love to have a heart-to-heart chat with you about how you can embody the divine feminine more. If there's anything that you feel like is slowing you down or holding you back spiritually on your journey, and you probably already know. And so I'm really, we'll be held in this space and you can share with me and we can create a plan and for you to move forward. And if it sounds like something you want to do, if you want to know about what I'm doing with women, I will share that. And if not, we'll just have a beautiful heart-to-heart conversation. So I do have a little bit of a limited schedule, but let me know, you can always reach out personally if you click on the link and there's just no time that works. Let me know. I can open up some time to connect with you on a Saturday or some other time. All right. I love you all so much. Thank you for being here in this vortex of divine feminine. as we step into our power and as we remember that we are one and we feel that and we start to allow this unfolding to happen within us. For me personally, this whole moon cycle was about releasing this layer of needing to know the future or planning, because as an embodied awakened being, you don't really need to know the future, right? But my ego wants to know the future. And so it was like a layer of that I was releasing. I am releasing. We are releasing during this cycle. And it's been such a beautiful thing, right? To live in alignment with the womb and the moon, and to have these beautiful gifts come through and release mindfully, consciously, knowing like, yeah, this is the pattern. It popped up right at the beginning of the new moon. I was in the thick of the pattern, right, until the peak of the moon. Then I started to figure out what the heck the pattern was, right? And now I'm digesting it, and then it's releasing with my blood within the week, probably next week. Really cool. So anyway, I love living in this way, really applying the ancient practices. So if you want to chat about any of that, you know where to find me. I love you all so much, and I will see you soon. If you're joining the cleanse, we have a cleanse call Saturday, so I'll see some of you there. All right, bye for now. I look forward to chatting with you.